Hey everybody, welcome to week 10. Hey, this week we finally get to the climactic moment of the early to mid 20th century, and that of course is World War II itself. Now the caveat for me is that I am not a military historian. I've probably mentioned this before, and therefore I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time focusing in on battles and strategies and tactics. As a cultural and social historian, I'm far more interested in the causes and consequences of the war. And so as a result, we're going to really be focusing our attention this week on the way that World War II had an impact on the home front. And we're going to be looking at things like employment and economics and popular culture and the way in which the war had an impact upon minority groups, including African Americans, women, and Mexican Americans as well. There will be a short discourse on some of the key battles. Of course, we have to understand what's going on in the two theaters of World War II, both in the Pacific realm and in the Western Front. But again, as a social cultural historian, I'm really concerned about the ways that the war had an impact on the United States. And indeed, much of what's going to come after World War II, say with the Women's Revolution and African American civil rights as well as others, the seeds of that can be found right there in World War II. And so that's one of the main reasons why I like to take a look at World War II on the home front. And so we're going to be looking at a number of things as already mentioned. So I hope you will enjoy this, and I hope at this point you have a decent sense as to how and why the war began in the first place. Of course, Pearl Harbor and the attack on Pearl Harbor ushers the United States into the war and knocks them out of their isolationism. But of course, that's not enough to understand why war first erupted first in China and then in September of 1939 when Hitler invaded Poland. Okay, and the United States will respond in kind following Pearl Harbor. Interestingly, rather than sending troops into the Pacific theater, the United States decides to first ally themselves with Britain and invade North Africa. And the way that sort of European campaign worked is we went into North Africa, we then moved into Italy, and we defeated the Italians there and retook a portion of Italy, albeit negotiations to topple the fascist regime were too slow, and the Nazis were able to reestablish sort of a puppet government in Italy. Then the United States by 1944 will invade with a number of other countries, including Canada and Australia, France, which fell fairly quickly in the war, and then finally we will move into Germany itself, and with the final battle being the Battle of the Bulge. And then in the Pacific theater, we pretty much do a lot of what we call island hopping, attempting to reclaim the Philippines, which the Japanese took at the end of 1941. So lots of different things to be looked at this week. And then next week, our objective is to look at war crimes and other problematic issues, including the incarceration of Japanese Americans in the United States and America's role in the Holocaust. So much to look at, so little time, as I suspect Willy Wonka might have said in the classic 1970s version. So much to do, so little time, or so little time and so much to do, or flip that, or whatever the quote is. At any rate, we have a lot to cover, and we're going to be trying to get through that in the next couple weeks. So dive into that, and I hope you guys will enjoy this material. The last thing I want to do is encourage you, if you have not yet done so, to just begin working on your projects. Of course, you want to try and get ahead as much as possible in case you have questions, and I'm always open to reading your material and giving feedback if you are inclined to do so. So that's pretty much it for this week. So with that, I will leave you. Go in peace, be warm and filled. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper, and may the odds forever be in your favor. Be blessed, guys.